Oh man, Facebook fam and YouTube nation. By the way, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's just my name. It's Derrick Evans right there. That's not Derrick Evans VA Homeless Specialist or any of that stuff. Just Derrick Evans. Subscribe on YouTube if you want to get all the videos. I do put a lot of them here on Facebook, but I don't put them all here. So if you want everything, you do have to go to YouTube, subscribe there. I really did not have time to make a video today, but I'm making one because I absolutely have to, just based on what's going on. I'm sharing this really quick. Nope, wrong one. I gotta wait for this to populate. But basically what's going on, what's being said in the news, what's happening in the real estate market. So much cool stuff going on. We're taping, it's not going to be live. We're taping the real estate debate reboot tomorrow in studio. Going to be awesome. I'll be in studio now multiple times a week, every week, creating more videos, more content, more insider action and information about what's going on in the San Diego real estate space. The market is, wait a minute, did I screw up? And I did. Shoot. I screwed up. I made the, I forgot to change the title. Sorry, team. Different title. Ha ha ha. I'll have to fix that later. My bad. Today's title was supposed to be something else. So sorry about that. I talked about masks last week. We looked at all the the media essentially is prepping us for, hey, expect to hear more bad news about COVID. Hey, expect to be wearing masks again. Expect to have a rough travel season. Sorry, I screwed up on the title. My bad. Okay, let's dive into this. So we're going to look at a couple things here. First of all, let's get rid of that. Let's jump on here. Okay, so one of the things, what I'm going to tell you today, I actually might get my butt chewed for. Someday, someone in the media is going to threaten me. I know it is coming. And it's a day like today where I reveal some of the things about how this stuff works that is probably going to make it happen. But I'll promise you this. If you reach out to me and you talk that trash, I will name you by name in a video and I will promote it. I will spend money to put it in front of people. So just know that if you're going to threaten me. So we like CNBC. Why do we like CNBC? Because we know who owns CNBC. We know who is the main advertising entities on CNBC. So we know where the agenda is coming from. All news has an agenda. Don't lie to yourself. The one you like is not the only one without an agenda. Now, what's interesting here is let's look at the headlines. And I thought this was so perfect. I mean, just look at the front page. It tells you everything you need to know about what's going on. Inflation expectations surge. Oh, now we're talking about inflation surging, hitting new high for New York Fed survey. Inflation is the silent killer, as many retirees are feeling the sting. Fed Chair Powell charged with convincing Congress this week that easy policy is still needed. What does that mean? That means the easing that they're doing, all the quantitative easing, all the stuff that causes inflation. Wow. This almost looks like, and this is top left. This is the prime position, by the way. People read things in the shape of an F. So they go down the left side first, come back up to the top, and then over to the right, and then into the middle. So in the shape of an F is how people's eyeballs work, and that's why this is the most prime real estate on any website, not just CNBC. But isn't this interesting? It looks like they're saying a bunch of stuff about inflation. Now, all we've been seeing from CNBC is how light inflation is. It's transitory. Everyone's saying this and saying that. There hasn't been a whole lot. They've put a couple of things up that you couldn't miss, data points that came through that were higher and worse than expected. But they haven't really been talking trash about inflation. What does this mean? This might be actual journalism. They release these real articles whenever the people who are paying for articles pull back. So whoever that is, and I don't know who it is, but there's plenty of people who have been paying for a lot of this information to be subdued or for articles to come out talking about how inflation isn't as bad as people think. And now all of a sudden you see front and center stuff where we're actually talking about what's happening with inflation. That means that someone needs to pay up, and this is how they show them, hey, if you don't pay up, this is what we're writing, because this is what's actually happening. So send the money, and we'll then write whatever you want. I know this sounds crazy, but this is how it works. And if you dive into these, oh, and look over here. Most fully vaccinated people who get COVID Delta infections are asymptomatic. Who says? Okay. I don't know how you would have that information already, but okay. So someone's still writing a check, whatever that one is, wherever that one's coming from. That check's coming in. Cryptocurrency trading volume plunges as interest wanes following Bitcoin price drop. I think that's true. I think, when Bitcoin is boring, interest does wane because it sort of attracts this coffee drinker trader type person who wants to gain 10% a day. But I always think it's funny when they talk about how the Dow jumps 120 points. Dow jumps. It jumped 0.3%. The Dow jumps flying through the air with a 0.3% gain. Listen, we like green. We own stocks around here, right? This is good. We look at oil today, which was down a little bit earlier. It's $74, still hanging in there. Gold's right around 1800, 1807. Where is Bitcoin? 33,000. Just been kind of in the same range, 30 to 40,000. I can tell you, Bitcoin is going to trade in the 30 to 40,000 range, and it's really been more in the 32 to 36,000 range. It's going to be there, and it's consolidating. It's coming to a head. There's going to be action there. We shall see kind of what happens next. But bottom line is there's a breakout happening with Bitcoin. A lot of the metrics and indicators are indicating it's going to move higher. There's going to be a big move higher in Bitcoin. I don't know if that's true or not. And I personally don't care. The reason I don't talk about Bitcoin as much is because I'm a long-term investor. I don't care what the price is today. It makes no difference to me. I dollar cost average. I buy it over a long period of time. Okay, let's look at mortgage rates. And I was going to look into listen, you can dive into these articles. I'll post the links. If you want to check them out, you can see exactly what I'm telling you. Once you know what I've said, once you know how this works, when you go and you read the material, when you go and you watch the segments, you'll be like, holy shit. This all makes sense now. And yeah, they're missing a check. They are really trying to convince whoever it is that wants to tell the other side of the story that they need to pony up. They need to get the checkbook out. I'm telling you, I wish it weren't true. I really, really do. Inflation is the silent killer. Many retirees are feeling the sting. By the way, look when this was written, published. July 4th. What's today? The 12th? 8 days ago. How is this article making top left position? Oh, well, because it's related to inflation. You don't put articles on there that are 8 days old. And my guess is they were probably holding on to that one for a while before they released it, because it's obvious and easy one to write pro-inflation. And look at the way they wrote this one. Fed Chair Powell charged. I mean, it seems like he's getting sentenced to like death. I mean, this is like he's been charged with a crime. Fed Chair Powell charged with murder. No, he's charged with convincing Congress this week that easy policy is still needed. He's not charged with shit. Are you kidding me? The Fed chair does not need Congress's permission to do anything. What the Fed does and what Congress does, they're completely separate. He has no charge against him. He has no, he's going to have to speak, but that doesn't mean he needs anyone's approval. I mean, does he need their buy-in for what he does? I mean, maybe if he was going completely against them, there could be political issues and rumblings, but from a standpoint of power and what you have access to do, he doesn't need them to say anything at all. So anyway, so there's that. This is the reason why I had to make a video today. I mean, I totally don't have time right now. I'm completely slammed. But let's look at mortgage rates. I just want you to know the truth. I just have a deep desire for people to know the truth, especially when it comes to things that are important as like saving for retirement. I mean, these are things, you get 30 years down the road, you can't go back. And the most important cornerstone to that is owning real estate. You own a home, free and clear, you make your payment for 30 years, and that's all you do, you're going to be okay. And that's the reason I believe in homeownership so much. And if you look at the chart of real estate prices over time, it just goes higher. And that's going to continue. All right, let's look at this. So I am not big on the stochastic. I don't really look at it a lot. A lot of people live and die by this in the bond market. You can see down here, it sort of, predicts, oh, hey, we stochastic indicator overbought, oversold. We don't have a triangle yet, but you can see we're overbought. In fact, every time this hit 100, which the stochastic hit 100 here, so the next day we topped. Over here, it didn't even get to 100 before we topped. This is before the Fed blew us up on this day. And then over here, we hit 100 multiple days in a row. This was the first day, so the second day was a top. So over here, second day top, didn't even get there, but at the peak we got a top. So the trend for mortgage bonds still higher. Okay, look at this trend line. This is pretty close right here. It's about like that. I'm gonna draw it as good as I can. Okay, so trend is still good. Still moving higher. Trend is still intact. Remember, we want mortgage bonds to go up. That means lower interest rates. So mortgage bonds higher is good. And, we did top on the stochastic here. We'll see what happens with that. But the bottom line is the trend is still in place. And we did not break through this ceiling of resistance, and we are now below this one, which we had previously broken through, which is a bummer. It's a bummer. But look at the wedge that's being formed. We have a tight wedge being formed here. And mind you, we have a big buyer in place, aka the Federal Reserve. They are buying these things. So if you have this pattern formation on anything, you are thinking it's going to go higher. We are going to march our way through whatever ceiling is that we're having trouble with, just because the trend is our friend and these ceilings only last so long. But with a big, huge buyer in place, like the Fed buying billions of dollars a day, and they have been forever, who would want to get in the way of that? I can't believe anyone's selling up here. Who's selling? Who's selling? It's so weird. But now there's also a lot of profit to be taken if you're buying down here. I mean, there's a lot of accumulation that took place in this range here. Look at those candles. Look at the wicks on those candles. Yeah, there was big boys in there buying big lots of bonds. Maybe they're selling, taking some profit right here at 104. I don't know. But the trend is there. So we could see rates continue to drop. Now, I've been locking, and I was locking all around this area here. We locked rates this day as well. This day, I locked a rate today, in fact, just in case this trend breaks, hey, if it continues to move higher when it's a purchase, you can float down. The refis, you like what you see, pull the trigger is my suggestion right now. But just know that what they do with the Fed stories is they will sometimes be propagated and they will be purchased and paid for by someone who is trying to convince you that it's the Fed that's moving the markets. Okay, remember back here when we had this huge drop? Stop it. We had this huge drop, and previous to that, we had 3 really ugly days. This was the big boys knowing what's happening. They're blaming it on the Fed. They're moving the market again on that day. If the market moves huge, everyone wants to say it's the Fed, but the Fed is like the slowest moving. They're like the Titanic of the finance. I mean, there is nothing the Fed should say that should really do a whole lot to move the market in the short term. It really isn't. But they like to blame it on that. So we all believe it. Oh, the Fed says this or says that, it'll move the market, because it will. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But it's not because of what the Fed is saying. We already know what they're going to do. They tell us a year or 2 in advance. So if they surprise us with, oh, well, in 3 years, we're going to do this. Oh, we thought you were going to do that. Sell. No. There's something else going on. So just know this right here, this could just be a setup. And just look at the negative tone. Fed Chair Powell charged with. Look at that tone. I think it's a setup. So I hope I'm wrong, but I think it is a setup. So we'll see what happens. All right, team. Big event for my realtor friends out there. Happening next week. You're going to start getting invited from all sorts of people, most likely, in the coming days. I have not done anything public yet with it, but I'm seeing the RSVPs come in. So next week, Wednesday, 11 a.m. If you get that invite, come to that event. We're going to be talking about all this stuff, but particularly how it relates to real estate, what's going on in the real estate market nationally, why it's happening, and kind of what's next. So wanted to get this one in today so you guys can see a little bit of behind the scenes when it comes to media, how this stuff works. I know because I've been there. I've been a media executive. And find me another media executive who disagrees with me. That would be my challenge to you. Find me another person who's been a media executive at a major media brand who disagrees with what I'm saying right now. and I will gladly debate that person live anytime, anywhere, any channel. This is just a fact. This is how this works. And it is 100% about making money. It is not about informing you about the truth. This is why I could not work in that environment. And I wanted to do my own thing, and I want to bring the truth to people. So you can't believe everything that you see, but if you can know the agenda for which the person who is delivering you information is trying to serve, you can call them out, and you can at least know what's going on. Prepare yourself for what's next, and have a better understanding of why would they be trying to scare me out of this? Why would they be telling me to run away from that investment? Why would they be telling me this or that? If you know their agenda, it makes it easier. So hopefully that's helpful, team. I'm going to cut it today. I got to get back to work. Oh, hey, you know what? I was talking about subscribing on YouTube. Just so you know, I don't ever run any ads on my YouTube videos, ever, because I think ads suck. So if you want to subscribe, just look up my name on YouTube, Derrick Evans. Just under that, all the videos are there. Everything's there. So subscribe to that. You'll get all the videos. No commercials. The only commercial is, hey, I'm a mortgage guy. If you have a question about you want to buy or refi, give me a call. That's the only commercial. That's it. I'm a VA home loan specialist. If you have VA questions, give me a shout. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you.